Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to demonstrate how you can work with multiple motion tweens in Adobe Flash CS6. To start, I'm going to click the last frame of my motion tween in this particular presentation. That is frame number 40 on the biker layer. Then I'm going to lock the biker layer by looking at the lock column on my timeline and clicking the button or the circle right underneath the padlock on the biker layer. That locks the biker layer so that at this point nothing can be done to the biker layer. Now I'm going to add a new layer to my timeline by clicking my new layer button at the bottom of the timeline. And of course the default name of layer 2 is not very descriptive, so I'm going to click on that in the timeline. And I'm going to change that to something that is a bit more descriptive, bike off stage. Bike off stage. And I'm going to hit my enter key so that that takes effect. And at this point, I'm going to click on frame number 40 on the bike off stage layer. Then I'm going to insert a keyframe here by going to my insert menu at the top of the screen, highlighting timeline, and then clicking on keyframe to insert a keyframe in frame number 40. After inserting that keyframe, I'm going to go to my library panel, and I'm going to drag a copy of the G biker symbol from my library panel and drop it so that it's on top of the biker that I already have on the stage. Kind of like that. And you can see that those bikers are not completely overlapping. We're going to fix that next. To do that, I have to activate the free transform tool on the tools panel. And you'll notice a box pops up around the bike off stage, that copy of the biker that I just dropped into that layer. And the box has several squares around it. Well, at this point, as long as I make sure the rotate and skew option is selected at the bottom of my panel while I have my free transform tool active, I can then use my mouse pointer to rotate and or skew this object. Okay, so make sure that is active. And then you can rotate and skew. Notice when you float the mouse pointer over close to one of the boxes, in this case the box in the lower right corner, your mouse pointer changes to a half circle. This indicates that you can now rotate and skew the object. So I'm going to rotate the biker just a little bit so that the biker matches the position of the one that we already have on the stage. And I can also use my arrow keys on the keyboard to align even better the two bikers on the stage. And you can just press the directional arrow keys on the keyboard as much as needed to align the two bikers. And that seems to be pretty good there, so I'm going to leave that as it is and click frame 41 on the bike off stage layer. And then I'm going to insert a keyframe in the bike off stage layer by going to my insert menu, highlighting timeline, and clicking on keyframe to insert a keyframe in frame 41. And if you look at figure 25 in your textbook, I'm now going to use the arrow keys and the free transform tool to align the biker at the bottom of the ramp. Okay, so at this point, I need to move the biker over. This is bike off stage again, actually right now. So I'm going to move the biker over. And then I'm going to orient the biker to the bottom of the ramp and use my arrow keys to make sure the biker is at the very bottom of the ramp, like so. Just another teeny tiny little rotation there. Then I'm going to click my selection tool. Now that I've got that completed, and your biker should be in a position similar to the one you see on my screen right now. And at this point, I'm going to click the biker object itself to make sure it's highlighted. And notice the biker here, there's no motion tween on the bike offstage layer. The only motion tween that's currently present is in our biker layer, and that is not the layer we're working with at this point. We are still working with the bike offstage layer. So make sure that the biker object itself is selected. Make sure it's got the blue square around it. Then go to your Insert menu and Motion Tween. Okay. Click on frame 45 of the bike offstage layer. Frame 45 of the bike offstage layer. And then drag the biker off the stage as shown in figure 26 on page 419 of your book. You're basically doing this. Be careful not to lift up as I just did. Just try your best to drag to the right, if at all possible. And you notice that creates a small motion tween from the starting point here until the biker is off stage. And you can test the movie at this point by hitting the Enter key on your keyboard. Actually, let's reset all the way to the beginning. And hit your Enter key on the keyboard, and what should happen is the biker should jump the ramp and then move off stage, as you're seeing here. And that is how you work with multiple motion tweens at the same time. Notice here, we have a motion tween on the biker layer that moves the biker from frame 1 to frame 40, and then beginning at frame 41 through frame 45, we have a separate motion tween that moves the biker off stage at the bottom of the ramp. And since we positioned both bikers in the exact same position, it basically looks like we only have one biker doing that motion here, when in actuality we have two. And once again, that is a demonstration of working with multiple motion tweens in Adobe Flash CS6.